Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash the like button the way that female high school teachers smash their students, so this video reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number 1, careful out there my dudes. Stay vigilant and remember it's called fake up for a reason. And she posted this on TikTok without realizing how big of a cell phone it really is. One of the reasons that she looks so bad on the left is because makeup also ruins a woman's skin. But it's a catch-22. Because after it ruins her skin, she has to keep putting it on to hide the fact that she ruined it. 99% of the so-called 10s out there are doing this. Up next, many kids in the 90s were introduced to death through Mustafa and The Lion King. But if you were born in the 80s, it was Murphy through RoboCop when Terrence Boddicker uses Murphy's body like a piñata and kept on hitting it over and over again with a long-distance hole puncher. The difference in this case is that while it was traumatic, Murphy came back as RoboCop, and Mustafa was dead. We were really introduced to death in RoboCop through the Melting Man, and it was absolutely hilarious. Number 3, I'm not sure if this is shaming men or just pointing out the insanity of this world. The virgin on the left is saving himself for his virgin trad wife, and I'm sure she's out there somewhere wishing she could marry a deranged asocial man with schizoid personality disorder. The left one is correct. But the woman on the right is smashing her way through college trying to trap some Chad with sex and love and failing miserably at it. The man will probably die a lonely virgin and the woman will die a run-through cat lady. Moving on, this man found $7.5 million hiding in a storage unit that he bought for only $500 in 2018. And he reached a $1.2 million settlement to return the money. Smart move. That money probably belonged to Walter White and Associates. If you took the full amount, you'd have to look over your shoulder for the rest of your life. It's all fun and games until you come home to find this guy sitting in your chair waiting for you, looking for the money. Number 5, can you name this 80s Dan Aykroyd film? It's Spies Like Us. That's Vanessa Angel, and it's her first film role, and she was part of the Russian rocket crew launching an ICBM. They think it's the end of the world, and 2 gay Russian soldiers decide to smash each other before all the nukes fall. But it's typical of humans when they think that the end is near, all their repressed sexual energy comes up. When ships used to sink and everyone was going to die, the men would often grape the women as a coping strategy. Up next is the AI bubble popping. The searches for AI bubble in the United States are at an all-time high. Is this a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point with people stampeding out of the markets? I know I took a massive short position against the Nasdaq. Even if the bubble doesn't burst, it might correct 20 to 30%. That's all I need to succeed. I think they always tell people it's a bubble right before they pop it on purpose. Not because it's overvalued, but because the trade is overcrowded and they can make more money crashing it. Number 7, remember everyone that the British government took everyone's boomsticks away in 1997, and now they're being arrested for memes. How could they be so stupid? Even in Serbia, the most heavily armed country in Europe, my cousins have been handing over their boomsticks to the government there, even though the Balkans historically have constantly had wars. They have 1 firearm for every 2.5 people, and in the United States is 120 firearms per 100, the highest in the world. Moving on, Stefan Molyneux says that men need to consider their future sons when they're thinking of dating really short women. Yes, because usually the women's genes are most likely to dictate the height of the sons, and yet short women still want super tall men. But at this point, the dating market is so bad that men that do marry, they need to find someone who isn't crazy and covered in tattoos while sporting a notch count approaching 100. Number 9, and it's getting so bad out there that people are calling it the Great Relationship Recession. The rise of single people is reshaping the world. And the thing is, most people aren't lonely because they have their phones to keep them company and keep the dopamine flowing. A third of all adults are single, but it's probably 40% of men while only 25% of women, because they're all sharing the same men. This is happening because phones are bad substitutes for the emotional rewards we used to get in relationships, which are being replaced now by the dopamine from our digital devices. Up next, the worst mom ever steals her daughter's date to the junior high dance and has a baby with them. What motivates women to do this sort of thing? This wasn't a thing while I was growing up. I heard of male teachers getting female students pregnant, but never the other way around. It's like we're living in a crazy alternate reality where women are behaving like men from 40 or 50 years ago. When she has that baby, I wouldn't be surprised when she steals the baby's date one day too. Number 11, Sunshine here says that a single man over 30, especially with no children, is a big red flag. She's obviously smoking her own belly button lint. But the demographic with the biggest red flag are single women over 30 with kids. She's trying to play a game of reverse psychology. By demonizing single childless men over 30, she's making single women with children over 30 more virtuous by default. Yeah, no one is buying her arguments. Moving on, a trans influencer in Belgium is beaten by Islamists and is shocked this has happened because them always supported Palestine, and they don't understand why they were attacked. This is what we call suicidal empathy. Them is lucky they were in Belgium because if this was Palestine, they would have been deleted from this earth. Weak liberals thinking they can swing Muslims to their side are really the ones smoking their rainbow-colored pubic hairs. Number 13, a woman in Canada was taken to emergency and waited 20 hours to find out that she was having a heart attack. My father was recently admitted in a hospital for chest pains, and it took a couple days to find out what was going on. This is very common behavior these days in Kazakhstan. When I had horrible unbearable kidney stone pain, it took them 3 hours to finally give me morphine for the stone. Now I have a few pills in reserve just in case I get another one. Up next, would you just look at her body language? She rejected him, and it looks like he's already married. Either it's his wife and she's humiliating him publicly by giving him the cold shoulder, or he's hitting on her and his wife is watching this at home. Either way, he's cooked. Then again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is all staged and they were just trying to pretend like they were a couple. But there can only be one like this. Number 15, GTA 6 will feature pride parades and queer representation. But they'll pull the pride parades the moment people start making spicy videos of going on a rampage in one. The alphabet people will be outraged. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it so that you could actually take people and kidnap them and then put them on rooftops, if you know what I mean. They let you kidnap tons of people in loaded buses in GTA 5. So here's hoping they allow more. Moving on, here's a new level of crazy. This woman tattoos the name of the mothers of all her ex-partners. I bet her back is already covered from top to bottom, and that's why she started doing her side. Because you know that the real number is always 4 to 5 times higher than she's going to tell you. This also adds a whole new meaning to the phrase tramp stamp. Makes me wonder if she's bragging or just trying to trick people into thinking her count is lower. Number 17, here's a woman that's literally a cat mom. She was on a plane and was caught breastfeeding her pet mid-flight and refused to stop. There's even a video with some soy boy telling the flight attendants that she's not breastfeeding a child, but a cat instead. She should have been feeding the soy boy so he could become a real strong man. Women are hitting the wall and they don't have an outlet for their maternal instincts, so this is what happens. Up next, we're going to see more and more cases like this in the future. This former man got the bottom surgery and now regrets it, even though the doctor says that it's one of the best results he's ever seen. The male to female trans person is not happy because he thought it would work, and then he could have an orgasm. I guess you should have read the fine print that says orgasms not included. Imagine the frustration of never being able to release your frustrations again. Unfortunately, maybe that's why so many of them end themselves with their bathing toasters. Number 19, meanwhile, the base Czech Republic has banned the promotion of communism. Anyone creating or spreading communist content or promoting it faces 1 to 5 years in prison as of the new year. The entire West needs us, but if we did it, what would the university professors and half our politicians do? People say that the West is about to die. That might be the case, but at least Western civilization has Eastern Europe to fall back on. Moving on, speaking of communists, this Portland politician demanded her homeless neighbors be given a place to sleep, and then she had her home torched by one of them. She'll probably play the victim and say that if only people had listened to her and given the homeless people a place to stay sooner, then she would still have her house. Looks like Portland is finally learning what happens when ideology meets reality. Here is all that's left of her house and car. They're both gone. Number 21, this 3 strikes inmate who was released from prison is not charged for ending this white woman. So I guess the 3 strikes now means that you get let out of prison. I bet the people on the parole board have the first names LaFonda and Shaniqua. But that information will never be released because it would be considered racist. I remember back in the day when criminals committed 3 major crimes, they were put in prison for life. Now they're released so they can take life. Up next, imagine being an uncontacted tribe and then looking up in the sky to see this. It's the same feeling I get when I've seen a UFO before. Then again, maybe they'll just think that those pixels are missing in the sky or something. On the bright side, if you see one of these bad boys overhead, then you should be grateful that you're not the targets. Because when they do their bombing runs, it's up so high that you never see it coming. Number 23, this woman ends up in the hospital, and her man asks her just to be clear that she's not cooking dinner tonight, right? This must be somewhere in Eastern Europe because there's no way that a Western woman is that thin or attractive. It's also a place where women, up until recently, would do the cooking and cleaning as part of their upbringing. Remember, if you're going to date, this is a good reason why you should have more than one girlfriend. So there's always someone there to cook for you, no matter what. Moving on, here's what it's like to be too young to relate to millennials and too old to relate to Gen Z starter pack. I'm Gen X and played the GameCube and went to Blockbuster with my flip phone in my mid to late 20s. This is peak millennial stuff, and relating to Gen Z is when you get a smartphone earlier on, as well as playing Minecraft. The only thing I don't relate to Gen Z with is the crazy skibbity toilet language that they use. If you keep up with technology and culture, you can relate to any generation. Number 25 and the last one, maybe I stand corrected, because I can't relate to tattoo culture and wokeism, or fuchsia hair. The closest reference I have to the woke mind virus is from the Borg in Star Trek trying to assimilate everyone into their insane way of thinking. They've shifted to the left of Stalin, yet they insist on the fact that everyone else has changed. How can they be so blind? Whenever I hear the phrase "the future is female," I think of a car running off a cliff over and over again. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm, and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoy this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal Subscribe Star links. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.